Hey, Grand Rapids, did you know home prices are up another 7.4% year over year? Welcome to the Grand Rapids, Michigan, Kent County residential real estate market update with data through August 2020. My name is Rodney Constable. I'm a realtor with Century 21 affiliated out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Home prices are up 7.4% year over year, with the average home selling for $265,603. The average home 1 year ago was selling for $247,313. The average home is selling after being on the market for just 21 days. When we compare that to the inventory of unsold homes, we can see that those homes have been on the market for an average of 75 days. What these two data points tell us is that if a home is properly priced, it will sell in a relatively short period of time. However, if a home is not properly priced for its location, condition, and amenities, it will stay on the market for an extended period of time. Right now, on average, just under 3 months. Next, let's take a look at the year-to-date new listings versus the same period 1 year ago. So we're looking at January through August of each 2020 and 2019, and what we can see is that we're down 10.7% in this category versus where we were in 2019. And of course, a lot of that has to do with having to shut down the economy because of the coronavirus. When we look at this data in a numerical format, what we can see is through the end of August, we've had 7,439 new listings come to market in Kent County. That is down 894 versus the same period in 2019. And of course, we know that that equates to 10.7%. Now, when we go to the bottom of this chart, because I want to look at the last 5 years to kind of show you a trend, okay, that's been existing for at least the last 5 years. And so when we look at 2016, we can see that we had 8,827 new listings for the first 8 months of the year. So we're down 1,388 new listings. That's 15.72% versus where we were in 2016. And then again, if you start at 2016 and then read up on this chart, what you can see is that year over year, the number of new listings have been dropping every year for the last 5 years. And of course, this year, that trend has been really accelerated, exacerbated. That situation has been exacerbated because of having to shut down the economy because of the coronavirus. But this trend of fewer listings coming to market year over year over year has been in place for at least the last 5 years. So just right there, guys, that's going to contribute to a lower amount of inventory, and basic economics of supply and demand says if you have a limited supply or a decreasing supply of something, in this case, the amount of homes available for purchase and the demand for housing stays intact, and I can tell you it has, that's going to continue to cause upward pressure on housing prices. And we'll talk about inventory here in just a few minutes. Next, let's take a look at the year-to-date closed transactions versus the same period 1 year ago. And in this category, we're also down. We're down 6.8%. Now, when we take a look at this data in a numerical format for the last 5 years, what we can see is so far for the first 8 months of 2020, we've had 5,710 closed transactions in Kent County. So these are residential houses that have actually sold right through the end of August. And that number is down 417 transactions versus what we had in 2019. And when we look at where we are versus 2016, we've had 964 fewer closed transactions in Kent County for the first 8 months of the year versus what we had in 2016. That is a 15.23% differential. So just like with the historical data for the listings, let's take a look at the historical data starting in 2016 and working our way back up for closed transactions. So again, we're just looking at the first 8 months of the year for each one of these calendar years, but we can see in 2016, for the first 8 months of the year, we had 6,736 closed transactions. And when we look at 2017, 18, and 19, we can see that every year, year over year, that number has been dropping at least a little bit. And then, of course, so far in 2020, 5,710 closed transactions. And again, this situation has been really exacerbated this year. this trend, right, has been accelerated, exacerbated this year because of the coronavirus. But this trend of fewer listings and fewer closed transactions year over year over year in Kent County, this trend has been in place for quite a few years now. Next, let's take a look at the average months of inventory in Kent County. And what we can see is for 2020, we're down to 1.3 months of inventory. And when we scan down the last 8 years of inventory data for Kent County, we can see that this is the lowest inventory number that we have had in at least 8 years. Now, what this number means is that if no new homes came to market, based on our current sell rate, we would be completely sold out of homes in the entire county in 1.3 months. Guys, that's about 42 days, okay? That is not a lot of inventory at all. So what this means is that year over year, we should expect home prices to continue to rise in the Grand Rapids area given this level of inventory or the lack thereof. So what this means on the buyer side is that you should expect that if you put off buying your first or next home, you should expect to pay more for that home in 6 to 12 months than what you could buy it for now. Conversely, as a seller, if you are considering selling your home, this is a fantastic time to be a seller, but as we've seen, you still need to price that home properly. If you don't price the home properly for the market, if you try to get greedy or price the home above where it should be priced, that home will probably sit on the market for a while. And what we know is that the longer a home sits on the market, the less you generally have to take for that house. So pricing the home properly as a seller, even in this environment, is extremely important. So why does inventory matter? Well, as we can see here, if you have between 1 and 2 months of inventory, you probably are going to experience double-digit price appreciation on homes. And that is exactly what we have seen for many years here in the Grand Rapids area. If you're running between 3 and 4 months of inventory, you would generally experience single-digit price appreciation. If the inventory built to where you had between 5 and 6 months of inventory, this is more of a normal, balanced, or neutral market where you might experience some price appreciation, but it would more than likely be in the low single digits. And if you're under 5 to 6 months of inventory, this is considered a seller's market, and that's exactly what we have seen for many years here in Grand Rapids. If you're over 6 months of inventory, this is considered a buyer's market. And if your inventory built to between 7 and 8 months, that's when you would most likely experience single-digit price depreciation. And then if the inventory built to 9 months plus, that's when you would likely see double-digit price depreciation. So 7 to 8 months of inventory, single-digit price depreciation, 9 months plus, that's when we start to get into double-digit price depreciation. If you would like to learn even more about the likelihood of home prices rising in the future, I would highly suggest you watch my information-packed Will Home Prices Continue to Rise video, which is out on my YouTube channel. I will also put a link to that video in the description box below this video. So what are the next steps? Watch my Will Home Prices Continue to Rise video, watch my other YouTube videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for ongoing real estate education. Please give me a thumbs up on this video and other videos that you like. Leave a comment on my videos and share my videos on my YouTube channel with your friends, family, and colleagues. Also, please feel free to connect with me via social media and call me at 616-258-4782 if you are looking to buy or sell a home in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. Thank you so much for being on this video with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.